Please remain standing and join in the singing of the school hymn. Please be seated. Chairman of the Board, Mr. Andrew Schaefer, members of the Board, as well as ex-members of the Board, Rector Mr. Anthony Clark and Dr. Bridget Clark, the Executive Committee, our guest of honor, Mr. Jamie Ingalls, former Chairman of the Board, Mr. Gary Rafe, former Rector of Michaelhouse, Mr. Paul Fleischek, staff, heads from our neighboring schools, JP and Suzanne succinctly, who have had sons at Michaelhouse over the last 15 years, Her Majesty the Queen, Masanati Siyiso, special guests, friends of Michaelhouse, and parents and men of Michaelhouse. Unfortunately, Canon Reverend Alicia Tim, who is due to stand in for the bishop today, has been detained on urgent business and won't be able to be with us. It gives me enormous pleasure to welcome you all to the highlight of our academic calendar, the 2025 Speech Day. It's wonderful to see so many parents here. Speech Day is an opportunity to celebrate Michaelhouse and the success of our boys, and it is most fitting that their biggest champions are in attendance to assist us in doing so. I will now ask our school chaplain, Chris Mayer, to lead us in an opening prayer.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Michaelhouse boys, and particularly the men of the class of 2025. Please join with me as we open with a word of prayer. Let us pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, your written word calls us to give thanks and to rejoice in you in every circumstance. And so it is with praise and much gratitude that we gather together as the Michaelhouse family. We give you thanks for this precious opportunity to pause and reflect upon the life of this exceptional school. We come to celebrate the efforts and accomplishments of so many, to be inspired by the wisdom and insights of our speakers, and to have our spirits raised by the gifts of our talented performers. Dear Lord, we pray now that you will bless this gathering with your living presence, and that what we do today will bring you pleasure. We ask in anticipation that as we give thanks, as we reflect, as we celebrate and receive inspiration, that your Holy Spirit will touch our hearts afresh and that we will be moved to do your will in the world. And we ask this in the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
The reading is taken from Philippians chapter 4, verses 4 to 9. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again I will say, rejoice. Let your gentleness be known to all men. The Lord is at hand. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And all the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Jesus Christ. Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue, and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. The things which you learned and received and heard and saw in me, these do, and the God of peace will be with you. This is the word of the Lord.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for all attending Speech Day this afternoon, when we gather together to recognize, celebrate, and congratulate noteworthy achievements across a wide range of school activities and endeavors for A and B Block boys. Whilst I have first mover advantage for my address this afternoon, I'm very aware that I'm also an early curtain raiser in the proceedings. And so with speeches and prizes to follow, I'm going to be brief, but I'd like to touch on a few important points from a board and my personal perspective. It is entirely appropriate for me to begin by congratulating Rector Anthony Clark, who is presiding over his final speech day as Rector of Michaelhouse today, after 7 years. While an official farewell program is already planned for the 21st of November, along with other farewell activities leading up to the end of term, I would like to use this broader speech day platform to express recognition and gratitude on behalf of the board and the extended Michaelhouse community for a truly outstanding term of office over the past 7 years. Anthony Clark's impact on Michaelhouse has been profoundly positive and indeed transformative. I joined the board a year before Anthony started and have seen firsthand a range of positive changes during his tenure. A few key highlights from my perspective, which I'd like to mention this afternoon, are as follows. The culture at Michaelhouse, I believe, has evolved in a very positive direction and trajectory over the last 7 years. There's been a very definite and important shift from an overly hierarchical and stiff school culture with many negative and outdated traditions operating under the radar, to one now focused on servant leadership, on mentoring, on active participation, ensuring that every Michaelhouse boy has an opportunity to thrive in a caring and supportive boarding school environment. Very clear boundaries for unacceptable and non-negotiable behaviors, such as bullying and racism, have been established and reinforced. And a number of innovative pastoral platforms and safeguarding methods have been established to support and drive this cultural shift. Harmful traditions have been called out and eliminated, revitalizing healthy traditions in the process. I would also like to acknowledge the exceptional pastoral work that is being done by the Deputy Rectors, Brendan Gittins, Sibusiso Nkomani, the Housemasters, and the Deputy Housemasters, with many others I'm sure as well, who have led this all-important culture change which continues to strengthen. A second noteworthy feature of Anthony Clark's term of office has been an expanded and ever-increasing definition of what it means to be a full school. Intake numbers have steadily increased over the last few years, peaking at 642 in the second term. Annual admissions applications have been reaching record numbers year on year, and there is generally a waiting list from E to C block, which I understand stands at approximately 137 as of earlier this week. Equally importantly, there is absolutely no place for complacency, and Anthony has established a high-performance culture and a continuous improvement expectation and mindset across all facets of the school. This trend surely indicates a very positive brand perception and positioning for Michaelhouse, which has created a differentiated advantage in South Africa and beyond. Anthony has shown the board that he has a very clear understanding that a full school intake converted to fee income positions the school to complete important projects on time, to meet budget and cash flow expectations, and overall to operate highly efficiently. This trend has become very well established over the last 7 years and has enabled the extensive boarding house renovation projects you've all seen around you to be funded from school reserves. Anthony has led by example, demonstrating the very highest standards of professionalism, of work ethic, of punctuality, and a performance excellence mindset. He has also played a key role in recruiting and attracting exceptional teachers to Michaelhouse, also actively supporting the professional growth and development of current staff, many of whom have gone on to senior leadership positions in other prominent schools across South Africa over the last few years. Please may I ask you to join me with a round of rousing applause to recognize and appreciate a rector's job exceptionally well done. Thank you. Moving on, a reminder that Bart Welenga will begin as the new rector in the third term of 2026, shortly after he completes his final academic year as head of Blundell's, which is a school located in Devon in the United Kingdom. Wyn de Wet is well positioned to serve as acting rector in the first half of 2026 and is working very closely with Anthony to ensure there will be a smooth transition and best possible continuity next year. Handover planning has been front of mind and highly proactive, and many may know that Bart Welenga was at Michaelhouse for a very busy week in early September, where he attended a board meeting, he met with EXCO and staff, attended the chapel rededication, participated in current and prospective parent events in Durban, at Michaelhouse, and in Johannesburg. Anthony is in regular contact with Bart, keeping him fully informed, and I also check in with him monthly to stay in touch. As it has been a year since I wrote to the Michaelhouse community about Bart's recruitment and appointment, let me recap that Bart Willenga taught at Michaelhouse from 1999 to 2003. He's got deep South African roots, albeit he's been teaching in the UK for over 20 years. His parents and parents-in-law live in and around Howick. He's got excellent experience, having served both as a master in charge of an academic subject, a housemaster, a deputy housemaster, and most recently for 8 years as head of Blundell's. I would also like to advise that Anthony has generously agreed to be available as a part-time consultant during the transition phase next year, and will have weekly discussions with Wynne during term time to provide any necessary support to secure continuity. The September board meeting was structured as a strategy review workshop, an annual exercise where EXCO and the board members critically evaluate the implementation and outlook of the generational plan. This document, available on the Michaelhouse website, outlines strategic objectives for Michaelhouse up to 2046, which will be the 150th anniversary of the school. It covers Michaelhouse's identity, the campus and the environment, community for life aspirations, referring to the Old Boys Club and St. Michael's Clubs, and financing our future. The board and EXCO identified several core characteristics and differentiators we believe are important to be prioritized, refined, and developed over the period up to 2046. The following topics were deemed noteworthy, and I'll briefly summarize those here. Firstly, the holistic educational experience on offer at Michaelhouse sets us apart, we believe, from other schools across the country, and indeed the world. Strong academics, a wide range of clubs and societies, sport, wellness, nationally competitive cultural programs are all important features of the multifaceted, holistic education on offer here at Michaelhouse. Balancing participation and time across all these activities, we know, is a challenge. Many competitor schools seem to be moving towards more specialized, narrower educational offerings, and even sport academy-style sport programs. Full-time boarding schools, especially full-time boys boarding schools, are an increasingly rare educational format globally. At Michaelhouse, though, we deem this to be critically important, that the full-time boarding experience can be centered on developing a network of close friendships, holistic participation, servant leadership and mentoring, as well as service, where every boy is supported to explore his interests and reach his best self. Boarding allows for more time to participate, less time in traffic, more exposure to form stronger friendships and bonds that form the foundation of the highly engaged wider Michaelhouse community and Old Boys Club. Another key feature of Michaelhouse is the beautiful rural KwaZulu-Natal Midlands on campus and all around us, including access through the vibrant outdoor and backyard adventure programs. It is a unique privilege for everyone who studies here, as well as parents and other stakeholders, to be engaged and involved with the beauty around us. The expanding value proposition of the Old Boys Club, which provides support, friendship, and business opportunities for Old Boys throughout their careers and lives, is truly exciting. The Old Boys Club is ramping up efforts and capacity to assist matriculants in need with corporate bursary applications. It matches matric leavers with mentors based on subject degree experience and location, and increasingly is going to advertise work experiences and job opportunities available and facilitated through the All Boys Network. The engagement, pride, and willingness of All Boys to help is growing from strength to strength all around the world, and is certainly a feature and competitive advantage of Michaelhouse. Service remains a cornerstone of the Michaelhouse education, with good progress in house service projects linked to disadvantaged local community schools. These projects help boys become more aware and more engaged with community challenges, enabling them to make meaningful contributions whilst developing an all-important awareness and engagement with service. Recognizing the far-reaching implications of artificial intelligence for education and learning, Michaelhouse has established a task team to develop an AI strategy, policy, and ethical framework to be proactively applied and developed. The generational plan has been updated with the following addition, signaling the strategic importance of effectively using and deploying artificial intelligence opportunities, both for teaching and administration departments at Michaelhouse. The addition reads as follows: Michaelhouse will continually assess the evolution of artificial intelligence, embedding ethical, human-centered innovation into education to ensure artificial intelligence supports, not replaces, student effort and teacher expertise. The timeline for completing the remaining boarding houses renovations is now falling into place, with West scheduled for 2026 and Eastern Founders expected to complete in 2027. Thereafter, Old Tatham will be renovated to provide a number of intern flats more centrally on campus, together with additional accommodation for travelling sports teams and festival events. There is a growing awareness of the need to avoid overdevelopment on campus, which will increase maintenance costs over the long term, as well as detract from the campus's aesthetics. Future infrastructure projects will be carefully evaluated to ensure they add measurable value to teaching and participating at Michaelhouse. The Michaelhouse Development Office, managed by Francis Boltler, is now well established and focused on financing the school's future. New infrastructure projects are typically donor funded, and where approved, will be facilitated by Development Office fundraising efforts. The board recognizes the growing challenge of private school fee affordability and the tension this will increasingly create with maintaining a full intake, a demographically representative community, and accessibility for families across South Africa and beyond. Consistently increasing available funding for bursaries and financial aid is going to be essential for Michaelhouse's resilience and long-term sustainability, and this is the important fundraising priority for the Development Office. It might be an uncomfortable truth, but families and boys who are recipients of financial aid, who have benefited from an opportunity to be educated at Michaelhouse, are strongly encouraged, when able, to pay forward and to contribute to the Michaelhouse Bursary and Endowment Trust for future generations to benefit in a comparable way. Michaelhouse is exceptionally grateful and appreciative of the generosity of generations of donors who have enabled the extensive new infrastructure projects you have seen going up all around campus. An impact report will be published at the end of term to account for donations received over the last 2 years and how these have been deployed. As we are aware, with privilege comes responsibility. So it is absolutely essential that Michaelhouse partners and adds value to local community schools facing profound educational and social challenges. The Michaelhouse Community Partnership Trust, which goes by the acronym MCPT, has expanded its footprint over the last year, now working with 10 early childhood development centres, in addition to the 16 partner schools, which have been well established. The footprint stretches from Lions River to Moy River and now includes approximately 7,000 learners and 300 educators. Recognizing the importance of early childhood development learning, MCPT has partnered with a resource partner by the name of Grow ECD, a specialized ECD operator, to assist and support and develop our 10 ECD partner centers. Plans are at an advanced stage to launch a literacy development project early next year to try and tackle the severe literacy challenges in our partner primary schools. Literacy truly does become a barrier to learning, and hence critically important that we focus and prioritize in this area. MCPT is also privileged to be involved with the SIMI Maths program led by Paul DeVette and his sister Ruth Hicks, helping to improve maths teaching in in disadvantaged schools across KZN and increasingly nationally. We would welcome any involvement, participation, or support in any of these projects. And if you are interested, there's some brochures on a table as you leave the indoor sports centre, and you're welcome to get in touch. And we have many volunteers working with the team in many capacities, and the vastness of the need is huge, and hence any support would be greatly appreciated. In closing, I would like to wish all the matrics success with their upcoming matric exams. I hope all the papers are fair and that you will achieve your objectives in line with your academic and revision efforts. Hold on to the values you've learnt at Michaelhouse. They will serve you very well as you face unfamiliar territory and new challenges going into the next chapter of your lives next year. Continue to help others in service where you can. And please remain in touch with the friendships that you formed here, which will take effort and time. Update your contact details on OM Plus so that you can hear from Michaelhouse, hear about events, and do try and make the time to attend All Boys events that will be in your areas where you'll be moving to next. A meaningful quote I'd like to close with from George Bernard Shaw reads as follows: "A true gentleman is one who puts more into the world than takes out." I thank you.
Chairman, distinguished guests, parents, staff, men of Michaelhouse. Good afternoon to you all, and welcome to our Speech Day 2025, a day on which we traditionally celebrate some of the key events of the year without exhaustively repeating what you already know. This is also a day on which we have a special focus on our matriculants as our chief prize winners and whom we acknowledge for their many other attributes and qualities. But first, I would like briefly to welcome our guest of honor, Jamie Ingalls, who's so well known at Michaelhouse that he needs no introduction, although Tumi Motsepe will indeed introduce him properly later. Jamie, thank you for gracing us with your presence on this important day in the life of Michaelhouse and of our matriculants. You have been so central to so much of the growth and development of the school over the years, and a great inspiration to many of us. And we are truly honored that you have come down to Balgowan for this important occasion. As always, I hope to present to you in just 20 minutes a kaleidoscope of the key images of 2025, not an outdated blow-by-blow account of the whole year, but rather a light touch on some of the significant events which have shaped us over the recent months. And there is no more obvious place to start than with a visual record of our chapel and its extension, particularly since our guest of honor was one of the major donors, along with the Bruns, Johnson, Rafe, Sacco, and Thorrington Smith families, and an additional anonymous donor. You will perhaps not be surprised that several friends of the school had commented that we would ultimately lose our soul if we were not able to worship together because space did not permit of that unity. And as has happened before in this remarkable school, people stepped forward out of love for what binds us together and out of respect for what had shaped them, and the best solutions were found. The singing of Stars of the Morning by the boys in the beautiful new extended chapel at the rededication service raised the roof and brought tears to the eyes of many. As we gather here this afternoon, the renovations to Farfield are complete, and the boys have moved back into a beautiful house. It has been a complicated redesign involving the relocation of bathroom facilities into the body of the house and the raising of another roof in the A block area. But nothing has daunted or daunts or will daunt our brilliant architect, Nick Grice. Nick is retiring at the end of this year, having had the sharpest eye imaginable for all the lines and the angles that have contributed to ensuring over the past 30 years that our campus has grown ever more beautiful. We will thank Nick officially later in the year, but not before, Nick, you have delivered plans for West, East, and Founders. However, on this occasion, we acknowledge his outstanding work and express our profound gratitude to him. At conferences throughout the country, alarm has been expressed about the dearth of teachers. We are told that 50% of the teachers in South Africa will retire within the next 5 years, the implication being that there is no one to replace them. I'm pleased to say that counter to this trend, we have a wonderful blend of youth and experience on our staff. And though it is inevitable that we will lose some on promotion over the next few years, we are blessed with an exceptional academic, administrative, and operations staff. For any advertised position, we attract a host of applicants and are able to be selective in choosing outstanding people who will make a difference to the lives of the boys here and to their colleagues. We are also developing young teachers of the future through our intern program, and testimony to the effectiveness of this program is that this year we have had over 800 applicants to fill 8 places. These young teachers move on from us once they have qualified and gained experience, and then come back to us as fully fledged teachers, as is the case with Sifisilo Bengu, who's joining us as an economics teacher next year, and similarly, an old boy, Dominic Leslie, will take on a role as a part-time maths teacher in 2026. Retiring from Michaelhouse this year is Mary McMichael, who has taught English, coached hockey and squash, and interacted with boys as a tutor and done much else over 23 years. It is her ability to articulate clearly the nuance of the complex English language and her human empathy which has led to her being so valued by the boys. We thank Mary for her enormous contribution to Michaelhouse. No other classroom teachers are due to leave us this year, but we will sadly say farewell to these interns who will leave us next month, having completed their degrees and teaching qualifications and having gained valuable experience at Michaelhouse. And they are now off to make an impact on other schools before, hopefully, in some cases, returning to Michaelhouse if and when we have a vacancy. Interns play a vital role in the lives of the boys here as junior mentors, and we are very grateful for the significant contribution of Joshua August, Hayden Hankinson, William Hodgkinson, James Kiln, Tabani Mnchu, Luanda Zondi, and Nkanyiso Zuma. I also wish to pay tribute to Mr. Ishmael Zuma, a tractor driver in the Estates Department, who is retiring after 19 years with us. Mr. Florian Ndlovo, an estate supervisor who has given 23 years of service to the school. Ms. Bongakile Msimanga, a housekeeper in Baines, who leaves us after 25 years. And to Ms. Joyce Nkamalo, who is retiring from the SAN after serving the school for 37 years. Could I please ask you all to step forward to receive a gift from the school? Long service awards for working at Michaelhouse for 25 years go to Martine de Marusem, our HOD French, who's not able to be with us this afternoon, Ms. Fakili Msimanga, Ms. Jeanette Shelembi, and Ms. Bonakile Nsimanga, the last three of whom are from housekeeping. Please could you all come up to receive your long service certificates. Then Ms. Delcy Ndlovo has been a seamstress in the laundry for the past 35 years. Delcy, thank you for your faithfulness over so many years, and presumably a lot of dirty socks as well. And believe it or not, Ms. Pushpa Ramcharak has served in our finance department for 40 years. What a remarkable tenure. Delcy cannot be with us today, and so I'm going to ask Ms. Londi Hearthstones to receive your certificate and a gift on your behalf. And could I please ask Pushpa to come up too to receive her certificate and gift. I now want to thank and congratulate Lerutoli Siso and Dominic Sessinklee for leading the school with the calmness and authority of a king in the making, on the one hand, and an enormously energetic and popular young man on the other, and for your important role in understanding the complexity of putting in place the building blocks which create a happy and successful environment in an all-boys, all-boarding school. You've given your heart and soul to Michaelhouse in all you've done and earned huge respect across all the age groups. Well done to you both, and well done also to the heads of house, who as school prefects have guided and nurtured the boys under them. I started a tradition a couple of years ago, and yes, traditions can develop over just a couple of years. This tradition is that I refer to about a dozen matriculants to mark their final speech day. Please understand, boys, that this is random and that I cannot give airtime to all the triumphs, the total impact, or all the personalities of everyone in the A block. So I'm being eclectic and highlighting some memories we will have. As I said, this is random. We remember Santi Nkosi with Sumbi Chivasi for a great soccer season. Craig Cribbins, not only for his canoeing successes, but also for his turning a hand to looking after injured boys on the side of the sports field. Ian Graham, for his brilliance on the piano. Franco Bocking, for his courage. Riley Elliott, for keeping the #1 academic slot under lock and key. Simon Bales, for his sharpness and wit. Ethan Muir, for towering sixes and 2 centuries in succession at the beginning of the season. Alex Arday, for carrying an arsenal of bullets in his hand luggage and for courage in a season that never was for him. Aris Apteka, for his quirky sense of humor. Funi Kanyongolo and McKenna Gathiri for passion on the basketball courts. Lulu Nzama for his devastating tackling of opposition wings. TJ Mogoshoa for starting, along with friends, a tutor group program helping less privileged young people. Seshaba Simukonda for his dazzling skills on the Astro. Gregor von Meyer for overhead passes. Ollie Brains and Ollie Davis for leading their houses with such pride. Cole Curran for always being on hand to help out everywhere, anywhere, anytime for the school, and for getting into the first cricket 11 on one occasion when he was water boy to cover for an injury. Luke Mitchell for his huge versatility on the sporting field. Keegan Elliott for determination in the pool. Thank you, boys, for adding to the character and fiber of the A block of 2025. And thank you to those that I have not mentioned. I did say it was going to be a sample of boys, and the role of the whole of the A block in leading the school forward over the past year has been so heartwarming. I was also pleased to be able to show you some of my dance moves at the matric dance, especially those around Sweet Caroline. I can't actually resist showing your parents, and so we're going to turn up the volume for a couple of minutes. So it's been an excellent year. Thank you all. It remains extremely important for our boys to recognize and act upon the fact that Michaelhouse is an oasis in a fragmented society where other young people are growing up in poverty, and to do something positive to address that issue in however small a way it may be. Sometimes small acts collectively can make a big difference. And so the visits to our 16 footprint schools in our vicinity have been important in making an impact on the lives of others, and also in positioning our boys to understand the depth of the notion that to those to whom much is given, much will be required. I thank Mrs. Peter Roberts and her helpers for her organization of the visits by each house on a daily basis, and I thank the Community Partnership Trust Group of volunteers and staff under Ms. Akona Sikakana for caring and making a difference. Michaelhouse has also linked arms with Absa Bank in creating financial support for 5 underprivileged boys per year to attend the school and to experience a life-changing situation. We are very grateful, therefore, to Absa and are in discussion with other organizations about similar support. We must all continue to make a difference in this country whenever and wherever we can. Our old boys have certainly made an impact in 2025 in so many areas, but perhaps notably this year in rugby. Over the past year, we have seen the likes of Wandile Mdlaba and Campbell Riddle opposing each other in the Rugby Under-20 World Cup, with Luke Davidson playing for Saracens, and on the domestic scene, Tom Nell in the winning Griquas team. Most of our leavers go on to top universities in this country and in the UK or USA, an example being Luke Kaufman, who was 6th in the academic ranking amongst last year's matriculants, and who's just started at Peterhouse, Cambridge. Here's Luke on his first day. This was last week. The continued support of all old boys remains hugely beneficial to Michaelhouse, and the leadership of Sean Lumley, who has recently handed over the presidential baton to Rich Bates, has been significant in the success of Michaelhouse in so many ways. One of these is in fostering the mentorship program, in which our senior boys, having mentored the incoming E-Block, are now themselves mentored as they leave Michaelhouse and move on, most often to university, by old boys who are between the ages of 20 and 33. All 127 of our matriculants are partnered with 127 old boys, essentially on the basis, as you have already heard, of shared interests, location, degree courses, and the like. And this is, we believe, a significant development in the lifelong journey of a Michaelhouse man. I applaud it heartily. Michaelhouse continues to attract international recognition. Some of this may not be statistically based, but it was nevertheless gratifying to receive an award on behalf of the school in London recently for our being in the top 10 schools in the world outside the UK by Spears. Perhaps even more significance is an award from Steer, a UK-based organization which tracks and promotes mental wellness amongst young people. In an era where mental wellness and support for those who are struggling in this area is of ever greater importance, the award for the Steer School Champion of the Year 2025 is a mantle which we wear with pride. I want to thank all of our staff for their tireless efforts to work with the boys and with each other in the cause of Michaelhouse. One example of this was at the end of last term in the outdoor educational opportunities for our boys, in, for example, the C-Block journey and the D-Block Ponderland experience. It's not shared delight and joy for all teachers to spend 13 days sleeping under the stars or in the rain. And this only scratches the surface of the huge commitment of the men and women of our staff who simply make things happen. On an ongoing basis, we wrestle with issues of the day in things like sustainability, AI, social media, and everything else that is topical and important to progress. My deepest appreciation goes to an amazing team. I'm going to add my special appreciation to my unbelievably efficient and loyal office staff, Angela Johnson, E8, the Rector, and Nikki Venstra, Administrator to the Rector and Board of Governors, who do an amazing job every single day steering the Michaelhouse ship. To Reverend Chris Mayer for his outstanding work as chaplain in ensuring that there is a lively Christian fervor within the school. To Mr. Sibusiso Nkamani for his engagement with boys in his pastoral role. To Mrs. Windevet for enhancing our academic offering year by year. To Ms. Joni Warburton for her innovative work overseeing our finances and operations. And to Mr. Brendan Gittins for all he has done in steering the discipline, the logistics, and much else. As you will know, Brendan is deservedly moving on to a headship at Jeppe High School for Boys, where he was head boy in his own matric year. He will do an excellent job there and hopefully return to Michaelhouse in due course. We wish him, Shanae, and little Jack well in their new assignment. Our executive team is truly outstanding, and I have huge confidence that Mrs. Windervet and Mr. Bart Wellinger, our acting rector and rector-elect, will develop Michaelhouse in wonderful ways in 2026 and beyond. I'd like to express formally my gratitude to Bridget, my wife, for her unwavering, highly perceptive, and extremely loyal support over so many years, and I will comment further on this at other venues. And my sincere gratitude goes to our chairman, Andrew Schaefer, and other board members who spent so much time in the cause of Michaelhouse. Their commitment, wisdom, and sensitivity to the needs of the school have been vital in providing continuity in changing times and in ensuring that Michaelhouse remains a school which is extremely attractive to such a large number of applicants and remains full with waiting lists at every level. My 20 minutes is now up, and we are all looking forward to the address of our senior prefect and also to that of our guest of honor. And so I leave with one final word to the boys in the A block. Boys, I encourage you to reflect deeply on your time here in the most amazing bubble that is Michaelhouse, to understand the privilege that it has been to be a Michaelhouse man, that this honor should be worn modestly, and that it provides a platform for your future life, and that if it is possible in later years, you should try to give back in however great or small a way you are able to, just as our guest of honor today has done in his own lifetime. It has been the greatest honor and privilege to serve Michaelhouse over the past 7 years. There have been many challenges in those years, but they have been immensely rewarding and fulfilling. Bridget and I will miss you enormously. Thank you all very much.
Welcome to my house, welcome to your house, welcome to our house, welcome to Michaelhouse. These are the words I ended my first speech with as a senior prefect when welcoming our E-Block boys at the beginning of this year. And now that welcome has quickly become a goodbye, as this is my last speech as a Michaelhouse school boy. Only now am I realizing, after a challenging couple of days of reflection, of how difficult it will be to leave the gates and to say goodbye to an institution that has cherished me through the good, the bad, and the ugly, and which has given me a strong foundation for life. Only now do I truly grasp the true meaning of Michael's armor. We, like Michael, are truly equipped with the tools we need for battle. Good afternoon, Chairman of the Board, Rector and Deputy Rectors, our esteemed guest, Mr. Ingalls, members of staff, parents, members of the Michaelhouse community, and men of Michaelhouse. It is a privilege to stand before you all as a senior prefect of 2025 this year. I'm profoundly grateful to those of you who have supported me along the way, and as the head boy of this great school, I'm also sincerely proud of flying the Lesotho flag high. Hence, it is imperative for me to pay homage to the time I've spent here with my brothers over the past few years. This is the biggest address thus far in my life, and according to Ziyanda Hlongwa, the senior prefect has to cry in his speech for everyone to consider it good and memorable. The ones without tears are quickly forgotten, I've been told. There is clearly a lot on the line today. Big blazers, big hopes. Half a decade ago, the class of 2025 trudged through the gates and entered the red brick fortress. Most of us were all clean-shaven, innocent young boys from across the globe and across the country. It was, however, concerning to see the formidable builds of Oliver Brains and Sean Erasmus, towering, muscular St. Stephen Oaks, who look more like men than boys back in grade 8. It's with some regret that I say this. Their prime arrived way too early. 5 years on, they've barely added an inch. So, 2021 began with uncertainty. Online lessons, quiet quads, no fixtures, no war cries, just life inside the Michaelhouse bubble. Naturally, this was a call to action to make up our own routine rules and regulations. The only problem was, no one actually followed them. There were golf cart thieves amongst us. Alex Sade, Jacques Levue, and friends nearly ran over the rector on a night run. House kidnappings were the norm, and on a more personal level, I still remember the Mackenzie cack run. Naturally, some of us were more prepared than others. The skinny boys like Dylan Lahey, Sumbi, and Louis kept up with the fitness, whilst others like me and Dylan and Fort could even do a pull-up. Mr. Jeffrey, our newly appointed housemaster at the time, watched from the amphitheater with his coffee in hand. We seemingly knew from that day that he was not on our side. Despite the chaos, the school marched on, teaching us to appreciate the things we so often take for granted. Fixtures on the weekends, supporting on the stands as a school, and just simply being with each other. D-Block, the hooligan era, was perhaps the most enjoyable for the D-Block boys, but not so much for the staff. This was the year when we acted like hooligans, according to Ms. McConnell. This was also the year Mr. Gittins came and took office and cleaned up the school. The situation got so dire that the senior prefect at the time, Andrew Davis, punished almost every single grade 9 with earlies in the main quad, except one boy, Achang Machang, who bunked those earlies. We've come a long way since those days, a very long way. And in no time, C Block arrived. Most of the boys were unscathed going into the year, myself included, until Tinashe Simelane and I escaped Michaelhouse to reap havoc in the land down under, Australia. Little did we know while we were there, Michaelhouse would secure its 100th win against Hilton. Allow me to set the scene. Saturday, June 17th, 9 p.m. Aussie time. We were watching the derby in the dorm, cheering like lunatics and yelling at the screen while our Aussie friends wondered why thousands of people were watching a schoolboy rugby game. We were proud of the win and deeply regretful we couldn't storm the field and make some good memories, potentially inappropriate ones, at the Red Black after party. Then, of course, came the C Block journey. We were geared up to conquer whatever was in front of us. A day did not go by without Funi struggling or complaining about some injury. MJ spat in our food one night, and Matthew Butcher stole all the bar ones out of hunger and greed. Butcher. Last year, the boys had finally landed, and we were all ready to be the seniors in the school. Each boy had their own craft going for them. Then finally, 2025. What a year. The show was stolen by Oliver Davis and his Tatham team, where they orchestrated the biggest night run in Michaelhouse history. With over 600 boys, at least, I'm convinced 600 boys escaping the houses to have fun and cause mayhem. With no harm intended, of course. The boys know how that went down. When Mr. Gittins put on the school prefect group, we are not impressed. Full stop. We knew we had made history. We truly do apologize for that, sir. Seeing a mob of boys rush down from the houses to the fields, whistling and shouting in front of the rector's house, in hindsight, this is not our smartest move. Moving goalposts onto the road to disrupt the traffic the next morning, singing Stars of the Morning at 11 p.m. in Bailey's with our brothers, seeing Riley Elliott and Dominic Sessentley in the midst of winter and chaos, and in their Speedos, was absolutely unforgettable. I remember turning to Dom that night saying, Dom, we're going to be in big trouble tomorrow, proper trouble. I tried to avoid the wrath of Mr. Jeffrey when I was called for roll call that evening. I threw on my gown, put on my slippers, roughed up my hair, and acted like I just woke up. And even shouted at a few boys in the main quad to get back to their houses as if I was not part of it. Despite that chaos again, it showed me how strong the red and white DNA is, especially when things are done together. And when things are done together in the school, we truly are Michaelhouse Rangers. To get back to what I mentioned at the beginning of my speech, only at the end do we truly understand what the Michaelhouse armor means to us. The first 4 years are a crucial part of that understanding. Term by term, year by year, fixture by fixture, test by test, we equip ourselves with that armor. In E-Block, the belt of truth. It's the foundation, the moment we learn what it means to be honest with ourselves and each other in a new environment. D-Block, the breastplate of righteousness. C-Block, we lace up the shoes of peace. It's a crucial year where we start to find our place in the school community. Friendships get stronger, and the importance of unity is instilled in us. B-Block, we raise the shield of faith and put on the helmet of salvation. Faith in ourselves and faith in our brothers. It's the year of leadership in the making. The shield becomes our protection against doubt. The helmet protects our minds, reminding us to stay humble, disciplined, and focused as the finish line approaches. And finally, an A-Block, the mighty sword of the Spirit, symbolizing the readiness to face the world beyond these gates. It is through these years that a Michaelhouse boy is shaped into the man he wants to be. So to the matrics, this year's Michaelhouse men. It is a year at the school for which we are most responsible and the one we are remembered by. The class of 2025. What have we achieved this year? This is a difficult question to answer, and it cannot be answered on the spot. It needs time. It needs to be well thought of. I can talk about individual legacies for days, with William Gilson leading a successful hockey team, or Ethan Muir doing damage with the bat on Roy Gaythorne, Louis Ayo leading another strong competition marimba band. Some people will say, that A Block success is based off if we beat Hilton at rugby, hockey, and spelling, then that year has been successful. But leading a successful school and a successful matric year is difficult to quantify. We did not have a big win over Hilton at home or away to show for our legacy. The legacies we leave instead seem small but are crucial. We are the class that navigated big change, having only witnessed our first team rugby play on Meadows twice during our last season. Days before our last home game, the first team match moved from Meadows to Bailey's, inconveniently when the school was at its biggest. The manner in which the Michaelhouse community and the first team boys responded on that day played a pivotal role in the school's success on that day. We faced a different challenge at the away fixture, which the War Cry committee managed admirably with the help of the A Block. We got to spell at halftime, something I believe has never been done before and hopefully will never be done again. Another impact that we've had, is the manner in which we've mentored the E-Blockers during the first weeks at Michaelhouse and beyond. Our determination stands out as we rehearsed Stars of the Morning numerous times until the school prefects were satisfied with the E-Blockers. We're the matric group that really has bridged the gap between all blocks. This is how one knows a lot about creating strong relationships in every block. And finally, we are the matric group for the second year running where not one boy has been expelled the whole year. Touch wood. These things may not all be recorded, but they matter. As said by Maya Angelou, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. I'm extremely grateful to everyone who's been a part of my journey this year and throughout the years. I'll forever treasure the endless laughs generated by Toastmasters, War Cry Committee shenanigans, the atmosphere of CF, and the cherished and long chats I've had with my two cats this year, Nate and Cameron. One of my favorite moments was hearing my new nickname this time last year, the Prince of Lesotho, the King of Michaelhouse. What higher praise is there for the senior prefect? I'd like to extend my thanks to all the teaching and coaching staff. Thank you for your selflessness and eagerness to improve all your pupils. You're the reason of our success and significance. I cannot forget about Mr. Ed Jeffrey. As I've gotten to know him better over the years, he was possibly terrified back in E-Block when watching us do the CAC run. Sir has had to navigate producing 2 head boys in a row and deciding on the next best option 2 years in a row as well. I'm sorry about that, Reese. All credit to you, sir. Your strong character and mentorship has guided me throughout the years. Now to Mr. Ngamani and Mr. Gittins, famously known as Gittins the Kitten, or Kittens. He's nothing like a kitten. Thank you for always keeping us in check and for having a significant impact on the school. Mr. Ngamani, thank you for always having your door open and sharing good memories over the past few years. I was proud to serve as your captain in the under-15 soccer season. Thank you, sir. Mr. Gittins, JP, here we come. We will miss your presence and scary demeanor, but you have steered the school in a positive direction. It would be impossible to talk about Michaelhouse in such a light without speaking about Mr. Clark, the real king of Michaelhouse. We arrived under your helm, sir, and now we're leaving with you. We've witnessed Mr. Clark singing at a 2 school concerts. We've also had the privilege of dancing with him to his favorite song, Sweet Caroline, at the matric dance. All memories for the history books. So, we have learned from watching you, being hands-on is important in any successful school. Being dressed correctly for all occasions and conducting the most serious and highly respected assemblies. I will always remember your famous words at the end of the assembly, please stand, then watching you gracefully exit the building. Although I'm sure there will be other occasions in which we thank you, Mr. Clark, for your contribution to the school, I would like to take the opportunity to do so now. Sir handles listening to the commands of the board, the desires of parents, the requests of teachers, the feelings of old boys and the emotions of current students in order to determine what is best for the school and its future. Mr. Clark has tackled this task without hesitation and with clear success. We thank you, sir. To Dom, despite missing a few meetings with the rector, your work ethic has been an inspiration to me as well as countless others. Thank you for your kindness and support. You have personified the Michaelhouse values. To the school prefects, the Masole, as we call each other, which translates to soldiers in Sotho, you men have given all for Michaelhouse, and you've set and enforced a high standard. I've enjoyed working with each and every one of you, and I wish you all the best. Then finally, to my mom and to my dad and sisters in their absence, I would be nowhere without you. You have been a pillar of strength and have shown me immense compassion and support. To give everybody background, my parents only started attending sports fixtures in my A block year when I became senior prefect. Having your support this year and over the years has meant the world to me. To my mom who's here today, I've not even told you that I was going for an interview for senior prefect. You were the one I called in tears after getting this position. I'll forever be thankful for the sacrifices that you and Dad have made. From Maseru Prep to Clifton Naughties at the age of 8 and to this great and mighty school. You can't make it up. Thank you. To the A blockers, yo, let me lock in, yo. Thank you for an incredible 5 years of my life. We've had our fair share of good memories and also a good share of complaints. You will all be missed, and good luck to you all in the future. We will say our goodbyes when the time comes, but in true Michaelhouse fashion, I just want to say thanks, Oaks. And to the boys who remain a part of the school next year, remember, live red, white, so we die a red, white. Continue to carry the Michaelhouse values of courage, compassion, integrity, humility, and service into everything that you do. The spirit of Michaelhouse is your greatest weapon. Do not be afraid to use it. Thank you, Michaelhouse.
Well done, Leroy. I've got some tissues here. We now move on to a special part of the speech day, and that is the presentation of the prizes. It is wonderful to be able to celebrate these achievements with the boys. While there will be some prizes awarded today to boys not in A Block, the majority of the prizes and awards will go to the A Block boys. Not only will we be acknowledging the top achiever in each subject, but we will also be celebrating the culmination of 5 years of endeavor. Endeavor is something to which we attach great value at Michaelhouse. As such, we'll be awarding a prize to the most diligent boy in each class. We also value growth at Michaelhouse, and we'll be awarding a prize to the boy who has achieved the greatest gains since the end of B Block. We'll be awarding subject prizes, and then we'll move on to the special prizes. Please can I ask that you hold your applause until the end of the subject prizes, and then until the end of the special prizes. Of course, there may be occasions when you simply cannot help yourself. And of course, we'll forgive you for this. I would like to invite Mr. Jamie Ingalls, our guest of honor, to present the prizes. Diligence in Afrikaans goes to Mark Kun. Diligence in Computer Applications Technology to Jordan Rice. Diligence in Dramatic Arts, Max Murray. Diligence in Economics, Koketso Bopape. Diligence in Geography, Luke Macduff. Diligence in History, Rhys Barry. Diligence in Maths Literacy, Oliver Davis. Diligence in Visual Arts, Speedy Walters. Diligence in CAT and Physical Science, Ziyanda Hlongwa. Diligence in English and French, Araf Al-Mamri. Diligence in English, Life Sciences, and Further Studies Mathematics, Franco Bocking. Diligence in Life Orientation and Most Improved Mark in Maths Literacy, Joshua Ngobo. Diligence in Mathematics and Most Improved Mark in History, Oratile Manama. Most Improved Mark in Afrikaans, Ethan Muir. Most Improved Mark in Dramatic Arts, Lufuno Kanyongolo. Most Improved Mark in Further Studies English, Jonathan Busak. Most Improved Mark in English, Dylan van Tonda. Most Improved Mark in Engineering, Graphics and Design, Junhao Lee. Most Improved Mark in French, Lenny Kamal. Most Improved Mark in Information Technology, Ashton McCormick. Most Improved Mark in Life Orientation, Pico Madlanga. Most improved mark in life sciences, Alex Ade. Most improved mark in further studies physics, Ross Markham. Most improved mark in visual arts, Kyle Duplessis. Most improved mark in economics and geography, Finn Graham. Most improved mark in accounting and most improved aggregate, Emmanuel Charma. Diligence in geography and maths literacy, most improved mark in CAT, and diligence and most improved mark in history, Carl Ndeche. First in French, Oliver Butterworth. Diligence in computer applications technology and first in maths literacy, Matthew Carolyn. Diligence in mathematics and first in dramatic arts, Sean Erasmus. Diligence in English and a merit certificate, Matthew Butcher. Diligence in isiZulu and a merit certificate, Kwezi Dube. Diligence in physical science and a merit certificate, Thomas Charlton. Diligence in engineering, graphics and design and a merit certificate, Justin Higginson. Diligence in English, information technology and a merit certificate, Brian Britz. Diligence in life orientation, mathematics, and a merit certificate goes to Christopher Gilson. Diligence in economics, geography, and a merit certificate, Jean-Luc Gray. Diligence in economics, physical science, and a merit certificate, Luvuyo Sibani. Diligence in Afrikaans, EGD, and a merit certificate, Oliver Brains. Diligence in life orientation, most improved mark in visual arts, and a merit certificate, Jacques Levieux. First in geography and a merit certificate, Michael Pitt. First in isiZulu and a merit certificate, Tumi Motsepe. Diligence in Afrikaans, most improved mark in further studies maths, and a merit certificate, Aras Apteka. Diligence in further studies physics, most improved mark in mathematics, and a merit certificate, Ofense Mdaki. Diligence, most improved mark, and first in music, and a merit certificate, Makena Gatiri. Diligence in Economics, First in EGD and a Merit Certificate, Nicholas Smithers. Diligence in Economics, First in History and a Merit Certificate, Daniel French. Diligence in Life Orientation, tied First in Computer Applications Technology and a Merit Certificate, Luke Sidebottom. Diligence and First in Further Studies English and a Merit Certificate, Lucas Lorenzo. Diligence and Most Improved Mark in Physical Science, tied First in Computer Applications Technology and a Merit Certificate, Dylan LaHaye. Diligence in English, Life Orientation, Life Sciences, Visual Arts, Most Improved Mark in isiZulu, First in Life Sciences, Visual Arts, First in Life Sciences and Visual Arts, and a Merit Certificate, Andreas Papadopoulos. First in Information Technology, First in Further Studies Mathematics, as well as Core Mathematics, First in Further Studies Physics, and the Merit Certificate, Roelof Rousseau. Merit certificates are awarded to the following boys: Adrian von Klemperer, Harry Latter, Hayden Hewlett, Brunton Bagalki, Mark Conway, Seth Hari, Taku Ngarima, Tanashi Simalane, William Gilson, and William Russin. Now to the top achievers in A block based on year mark. Third place in the block, Diligence in Afrikaans and English, and the Merit Certificate, Luke Camera. Second place in the block, Diligence in isiZulu and Life Orientation, First in English, and a Merit Certificate, Simon Bales. First in the block, Diligence in Accounting, Further Studies Mathematics and Mathematics, First in Accounting, Afrikaans, Economics, Life Orientation and Physical Science, and a Merit Certificate. Well done, Riley Elliott. We now move on to the special prizes for today. Can we just have all those boys who are getting special prizes to please line up? Right, let's get started on those. The Junior Music Prize recipient is Zeng Fei Li. The Hutchinson Memorial Mathematics Prize for the most promising junior mathematician is Sam Porter. The Junior isiZulu Progress Prize goes to Nkanyezi Ndlovu. The Collins Prize for all-round musicianship is awarded to Brent Tayengwa. New for 2025 is the Paul Fleischak Intlazan Award. Paul Fleischak is here today. Mr. Fleischak, please will you come up to present this prize to the first recipient of this award. Mr. Fleischak was instrumental in taking our outdoor education to the next level. In appreciation of his time and dedication to outdoor education at Michaelhouse, we decided to institute this new award. The Paul Fleischak Intlazan Award is awarded to a boy who demonstrated exceptional determination, courage, and leadership among his peers to successfully complete the full Intlazan challenge. The recipient this year is Leo Watson. Many thanks, Paul. For leadership on the C Block Journey 2025, the Andrew Crutchley Memorial Award goes to Noah Hull. The Stubbings Dyson Prize for the most promising mathematician in C Block, and the Smithies Shield for excellence in vocal arts goes to Lunaziwe Mshengu. The Chick Henderson Award is awarded to a C Block boy for good academic and sporting potential, involvement and service to the Michaelhouse community, and a high level of comradeship, which is demonstrated by respect amongst his housemates, teammates, and classmates. Jaden Jabba is the worthy recipient. Well done. The Peter Baird Memorial Music Prize, awarded for excellence in music performance, goes to Harry Witherspoon. The Dave Lewis History Prize is awarded to a B Block boy who has demonstrated the greatest improvement in and enthusiasm for history, and this year it goes to Reese Watson. The Boo Lewis English Prize is awarded to a B Block boy who has demonstrated the greatest improvement in and enthusiasm for English, and this year it goes to Molise Pongu. The Senior isiZulu Progress Prize is awarded to Tandanani Zuma. The Godfrey Immelman Mathematics Prize for the most promising mathematician in B Block is awarded to Thomas Wayne. The Marie France Rafe Music Trophy for classical music is awarded to Ian Graham. The Rex and Sarah Pennington Award is made possible by the generosity of the Pennington family. The award is made to a B Block boy who, in the opinion of his peers in B Block, as well as the teachers of Michaelhouse, has demonstrated the following outstanding qualities in the years leading up to this award: a willingness to participate and become involved in school activities, service to the school and others, kindness and generosity of spirit, a strong and active personal faith, a sense of values, and the courage to live by them. This year, it goes to Max Oliver. The Tim Patrick Memorial Prize is awarded for exceptional contribution to club and society work and goes to Craig Cribbins. The Old Boys Essay Prize for English and the Heinzen History Essay Prize goes to Aras Apteka. The Senior Music Prize is awarded to Makena Gatiri. The P.D. Barnard Memorial Afrikaans Prize for the most improved mark in Afrikaans is awarded to Ethan Muir. The Tatham Memorial Essay Prize is awarded to the boy with the best life sciences essay, and along with the Richard Hedden Memorial Prize for Community Service and the Rector's Afrikaans Essay Prize are all awarded to Brunton Bagalki. The Proctor Science Award goes to the A Blocker with the top combined marks in physical science and life sciences, and this year it goes to Luke Camera. The Nedbank Life Sciences Prize is awarded to the top biologist in 2025, and that is Andreas Papadopoulos. The John Allen Memorial Art Prize is awarded for excellence in drawing, and this year it goes to Speedy Walters. The Robin Matthews Award for Courage and Determination in the Face of Personal Adversity is awarded to Franco Bocking. The Gabriel Massey Prize, awarded for oral work in English, Simon Bales. The Bishop Baines Memorial Prize for service in the chapel, Joe Gilson. The Nick Crow Award is an award that is made each year to the A Block boy who's not a school prefect, who the A Block body feel has displayed the qualities and attributes of good fellowship. This year it goes to Daniel Carr. The All-Round Cultural Excellence Award, which is a new award for this year, is presented to an A Block boy who has demonstrated outstanding contribution and excellence across a range of cultural programs and activities. It recognizes versatility, commitment, and meaningful participation in the cultural life of the school. This is awarded to Tumi Motsepe. The Des Sacco Award is awarded to an A Block boy who is voted by his peers to have shown excellent sportsmanship and concern for others in teams or sports, and is considered by them to be the best all-round sportsman. This year it goes to Luke Mitchell. The Biff Smith Family Award, which recognizes an A Block boy who's not a school prefect, chosen by his peers, who best personifies the Michaelhouse values of integrity, humility, courage, compassion, and service, is awarded to Lavuyo Sabani. The Hutchinson Memorial Mathematics Prize for the Most Promising Senior Mathematician, and the Harrison Academic Trophy awarded to the A Block boy who has accumulated the most academic points during his time in Michaelhouse, are awarded to Roelof Rousseau. The Michaelhouse Bilingual Prize for the top combined Afrikaans and English mark, the J.L. Robinson Award for outstanding achievement in the theoretical and practical realms of physical science, the Elliott Commerce Shield awarded for the top combined marks in economics and accounting, and the Herbert Fisher Award for the best A Block aggregate. These prizes deservedly go to Riley Elliott. Congratulations to all the prize winners. Let's give them a final round of applause. A reminder to the trophy winners to please stay behind for the photos at the end of the ceremony. Many of the boys have produced excellent results in the recent trial examinations, and we hope that each boy will consider his trials results as his personal foundation from which to attempt to do even better still. We're looking forward to results which will make us all proud when they are released in January next year. I want to take this opportunity to pay tribute to and thank our awesome team of teachers. They continue to go the extra mile for each and every Michaelhouse boy. I'm glad to say that the collaboration and collegiality, which has always been a hallmark of the Michaelhouse Common Room, has grown to new heights. Please can I ask you to put your hands together to pay tribute to our teachers. Finally, I'd like to thank everyone who's contributed to putting this Speech Day ceremony together. It has been a wonderful team effort, but I would like to make special mention of one person, and that's our academic administrator, Wendy Kelly, for the huge amount of work that she's put into ensuring the success of this Speech Day. Thank you, Wendy. I'd like to call on Tumi to introduce our guest of honor, Mr. Jamie Ingalls.
Good afternoon, Chairman of the Board, Rector, distinguished guests, staff, parents, and fellow Michaelhouse boys. It is my privilege to introduce to you today Mr. Ingalls. Mr. Ingalls attended Michaelhouse from 1958 to 1962, his career culminating in the head of Baines House, the Sword of Honor Award, and colors for athletics. He went on to read a Bachelor of Arts degree in English, History, and Political Science at the University of Wits. And Mr. Ingalls is living proof that a Bachelor of Arts degree can lead to an illustrious business career. He has worked for companies such as Anglo-American Corporation, Liberty Life Group, and Melville Douglas Investment Management. From an investment manager to a general manager to an executive director and to more. He has also served on a number of boards and chaired many trusts. All of this is an indication of his leadership and influence, his integrity and capability. Beyond his professional success, however, lies his compassion, his generosity of spirit, and his wisdom. It's been said that true success is measured not by what we achieve, but by what we inspire in others. This perfectly encapsulates Mr. Ingalls. It is the seemingly insignificant acts that Mr. Ingalls has performed, many of them perhaps forgotten even by him, which has determined his success. It is the bottle of red wine bought by Mr. Ingalls when he was the chairman of the board for Mrs. Penny Purchase and the other Michaelhouse part-time staff back in the early 2000s. He wanted to show his appreciation for their dedication to our school and to their work. This seemingly insignificant act has not been forgotten. Mr. Ingalls. Mr. Fleischer claims that your mom knitted your first Michaelhouse school swimming costume. But sir, I cannot imagine anyone swimming in a hand-knitted costume. Mr. Fleischer also speaks affectionately of Mrs. Ingalls, who used to enjoy watching the Michaelhouse First 15 playing on meadows, passionately supporting with her vuvuzela. The vuvuzela cries being heard across far meadows and beyond. Mr. Ingalls, thank you for agreeing to be our guest of honor this afternoon. We are looking forward to learning from you, sir, as you share with us your insights and lessons. It is my pleasure, my great pleasure, to invite Mr. Ingalls to the stage.
I think I must have paid Tumi too much. Chairman of the Board, Rector, distinguished guests, staff and boys of Michaelhouse. I'd like to obviously begin by saying how honored I am to be speaking at Rector Anthony Clark's last speech day. I know there will be other occasions to bid him farewell, but I'd like to acknowledge his remarkable contribution today. Anthony has presided over 35 consecutive speech days at 5 different schools, a truly extraordinary achievement. In my opinion, Anthony was always destined to be a highly successful headmaster. What makes for a successful headmaster? In Anthony's case, it is his vast knowledge and experience as an educator, his deep understanding of the mindset and behavior of young men, his proven strengths as an administrator, his leadership skills, and his exemplary personal standards. It is little wonder that he's accomplished so much in his career, from revitalizing St. Andrew's Grahamstown at a time when the hinterland of the school was suffering from deep financial stress, to highly praised headships at 2 English public schools, Gresham's and Malvern College, where he left to unanimous acclaim from the governing bodies and the wider Headmasters Association in the UK. and now at Michaelhouse, where I believe he is leaving behind a more balanced, harmonious, confident, and happy school, where the growth of every boy is paramount and the way forward is apparent. A quick word about Anthony's wife, Bridget, whose role in this accomplished partnership cannot be overstated. Bridget is an impressive academic in her own right as a professor of law. She is very much her own person and can light up a room with her attractive personality. If I had to write up a school report on Bridget, I would conclude by saying, definitely head girl material. Anthony and Bridget, you've contributed so much to Michaelhouse, and we are incredibly fortunate that you made the decision to come back to South Africa. It is our fervent wish that you will enjoy a richly deserved rest with the freedom to pursue your own interests. Our deepest gratitude goes with you. I must make the point that my speech today is directed primarily at the boys of Michaelhouse. As a prelude to what I'm going to say, I looked up the guest speakers when I was a boy here. They were Sir John Maud, High Commissioner for the United Kingdom, Ronald Curry, legendary headmaster of St Andrews and rector of Michaelhouse, Field Marshal Viscount Montgomery of Alamein, General Francis de Gangon, Chief of the Allied Staff Forces in Europe, a real heavyweight group. Unfortunately, I can't remember a single fragment of the advice that was dispensed by them. Talk about scattering seed on stony ground. What I do remember is that Field Marshal Montgomery gave us a full day's holiday and Sir John Maud gave us a half day's holiday. Now, before you boys get any ideas, I have to advise you that any similar generosity by me is way beyond my pay grade. What was it like when I was at Michaelhouse some 60 years ago? Do you know that we wore starched detached collars that were fixed onto our shirts with large studs? Do you know that we had porridge twice a day, breakfast and supper? And that when they tried to take away the supper porridge, there was a riot, as the alternative was too ghastly to contemplate. Do you know that we traveled to school matches as far away as Pietermaritzburg in the back of the school truck, which had a canvas hood but no protection from the wind? Return trips in the middle of winter were bitterly cold. Do you know that the prefect slept in the dorms with the other boys? There were no bed-sitters. Do you know that we had cadets every Friday afternoon, which was compulsory for all boys, and the poor cacks spent hours polishing the belts and boots of the student officers for the parades? Let me tell you a story about Field Day 1962. Every year, the school's cadet force took part in a military exercise called Field Day in order to test the combat readiness of the force. In 1962, the master in charge of cadets was Major Goldie Scott, whilst I had the dubious honor of being the senior student officer. Goldie put forward a fiendish plan for Field Day in which he conceived that terrorists had infiltrated the Barrelgown Valley and were now holed up in the nearby Cairn Marsh. It was the mission of the Michaelhouse Cadet Force to flush them out. For some strange reason, Goldie thought that it would be a splendid idea that the flushers should be strafed by flower bombs dropped from an aircraft whilst attempting to go about their mission. I never quite knew why the flushers were to be bombed rather than the flushies, but Goldie told me not to worry, as it made it like the real deal. 10 boys were asked to volunteer to act as the terrorists, and immediately 10 hardened smokers and malingerers stepped forward, delighted by the prospect of a day at leisure. The great day dawned, and that's when unmitigated disaster struck for me. My cack had brought back my army shorts from the laundry, but I soon discovered that they did not belong to me. They belonged to Arbuthnot, 1906. I was never quite clear whether this was Arbuthnot's school number or the year the Swid shorts were required by the school. Then, to my absolute horror, I discovered that the shorts were way too small for me. It was far too late to remedy the situation, as the battalion was already lined up and ready to go. So, with a huge deep breath and a little help from my friends, I squeezed myself into Arbuthnot shorts. The battalion marched out smartly over the railway line onto the main road, led by a cack waving a red flag, and the senior student officer marching with his legs spread wide apart as possible, like a giraffe at a waterhole. This was followed by Drum Major McCormick's brass band, the fighting corps, and the faithful school truck to pick up the stragglers. By the time we reached the turnoff to Cairn Marsh, a couple of kilometres up the road, the school truck was full. Moreover, as we reached Cairn Marsh, half the battalion lay down in the shade. This was very discouraging, as the men were meant to form up in line abreast to scour the area. The student officers were given whistles to control operations, but when the line was formed, it bore close resemblance to a writhing snake. No matter how many whistles were blown, whenever the men approached a difficult section, like thick bush or a donga where a terrorist was likely to hide, they would very carefully skirt it. In addition, by this time, my eyes were streaming from the ever-tightening grip of Arbuthnot shorts. And my commands were reduced to a series of high-pitched squeaks. In the afternoon, Major Goldie Scott swooped from the sky like the fearless Red Baron, dropping his flower bombs. They all fell harmlessly wide, except one which hit Farmer Cairns' prize bull in the middle of its hindquarters. It was feared that the shock had rendered the poor animal impotent, and the vet was summoned immediately. During the course of the afternoon, many combatants complained grievous wounds and were ferried back in the school truck. Dunkirk 1940 was an evacuation picnic compared with Cairn Marsh 1962. Naturally, Major Goldie Scott declared the exercise to be a magnificent success. One of the great advantages of a boarding school is that they bring together boys from different backgrounds and, of course, with different personalities. Just look at the crazy gang from Spud. Living together provides the environment for making lifelong friends. It is for this reason that the spirit of camaraderie of a boarding school must, by its very nature, exceed that of a day school. Probably the greatest gift that Michaelhouse gave me is the friends that I made here and who are still central to my life. Another gift that this school gave me is the deep impact of the beauty of this campus. For much of this, I have to acknowledge the work of Nick Grice, who has been the school's architect for almost 40 years. When I cast my mind back to my time here, some of the buildings erected in the 60s and the 70s had very little architectural merit. Enter Nick Grice, stage left. Nick has transformed these structures into welcoming, light and handsome buildings which remain true to the style and original vision of Sir Herbert Baker and his partner James Fleming. It was Sir Winston Churchill who said, "We shape buildings, thereafter they shape us." Please take a look at Nick's extension to the chapel. Last year, I undertook a tour of the great English cathedrals, and in its own way, the simplicity and beauty of the Michaelhouse Chapel has a presence which is equally impactful. If you go to St. Paul's Cathedral in London, you'll find an epitaph to its architect, Sir Christopher Wren, which is inscribed as follows: "Reader, if you seek his monument, look around you." What incredibly appropriate words for the legacy of another architect at a school far away in a remote valley in KwaZulu-Natal. During the past year, we added a display of best-selling books written by old boys to the existing displays in the Heritage Centre of Artworks and Sculptures created by old boys. The criterion for inclusion was extremely stiff, with sales of a book exceeding no less than 20,000 copies. which is an absolute blockbuster in today's terms. We have added 10 authors, ranging from Africa's best-selling writer Wilbur Smith to Professor George Ellis, co-author of the seminal book with the world-renowned scientist Stephen Hawking, entitled The Large-Scale Structure of Space-Time, which has totally changed our understanding of the physical universe. This book appeared in the UK Sunday Times bestseller list for a record-breaking 237 weeks, despite its complex scientific nature. It has indeed been a busy year. In May, to mark the 80th anniversary of VE Day, we honoured the 128 old boys who gave their lives in the Second World War. A recent book published in the UK, called Public Schools in the Great War, ranked Michaelhouse as having the highest percentage of fatalities in World War I from men who had served and been to independent schools in either South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, or Canada. Moreover, I believe that the ranking will be similar when the statistics are finally tallied for World War II. A sad but heroic record. On the 3rd of June, 3 old boys were honoured with the St. Michael Award, the most prestigious award the school can bestow on an old boy. The award is made to old boys who have lived lives of exceptional service without thought of recognition and reward. This year, the award was made to a doctor who has been serving in Gaza and Pakistan, a naturalist who has been instrumental in having the Maritzburg region declared an international biosphere reserve by UNESCO, and another doctor who has invented a combined portable X-ray and ultrasound machine for the detection of breast cancer, so saving the lives of innumerable women living in rural areas. When I look back at the lives of the 51 awardees since the inception of the award in 1996, I marvel at the incredible example set by these men. Not the least, the 6 OMs who were incarcerated by the apartheid security police for their beliefs. One of these men was imprisoned without trial for 96 days and then endured house arrest for no less than 10 years. Another served 2 terms of solitary confinement exceeding 70 days. And a third, aged only 23, served a solitary confinement sentence of no less than 180 days. Are there any greater examples of personal courage than holding on to your beliefs when you are all alone, withstanding both physical and mental torture? Perhaps similar moral courage will be needed from the next generation if we are to avert the downward spiral from which our country seems intent on pursuing. In 1897, at the very first speech day of my class, when the school consisted of less than 80 boys, the rector and the founder of the school, Canon James Cameron Todd, uttered some remarkable words. Our aim is to make not accountants, not clerks, not clergymen, but men of understanding, thought, and culture. I imagine that the parents were expecting to hear that Michaelhouse would transform their sons into amazing academics and sportsmen. But no, Todd's statement unequivocally put values first. Todd believed that values were the building blocks of a man's life. I often wonder what he would make of the modern world, where some of the world's leaders are unashamed liars, where our political classes have completely excised the word integrity from their vocabulary, and where we have to resort to commissions of inquiry to help us distinguish what is obviously right from what is obviously wrong. Today is, of course, Speech Day, where we come together to recognize and honor our boys, particularly the matric boys, for their talents and hard work. We extend our sincere congratulations to these boys and hope that their efforts in future will continue to be crowned by success. That reminds me of the story about Speech Day. Young Paul was a very average student, and he was being berated by his father. "Paulie, why can't you be like your friend Grant, who's won stacks of prizes and who always gets A's and B's?" "Oh, but Dad, he's lucky," replied Paul. "He's got very clever parents." I will leave you with a quote from Stephen Hawking. Remember to look up at the stars and not at your feet. Try to make sense of what you see and wonder what makes the universe exist. Be curious, and remember how difficult life may seem, there's always something you can do and succeed at. I thank you.
Mr. Ingalls, on behalf of everyone here today, I'd like to sincerely thank you for sharing your time, wisdom, and stories with us. I really do hope that, unlike yourself, the boys sitting here will remember your humorous and profound message about your school days here and how we should value how special the Michaelhouse community is. Thank you for speaking with such honesty and warmth and for reminding us what it means to live a life of service and significance. We're grateful to have you for your example and for the legacy you continue to build within the Michaelhouse community. Mr. Ingalls, please accept this gift as a token of our appreciation.
And then please be seated for our closing prayer. As Mrs. DeWet mentioned earlier, Canon Delicia Tim, who is the Bishop's representative on the Michaelhouse Board of Governors, was meant to lead our closing prayers this afternoon. However, she was unable to be here, but she's asked me to convey to you her thanks to God for the achievements celebrated here today, for the hard work of all of our Michaelhouse staff, and for the unwavering support of our parents. And she assures us of her ongoing prayers for us today. Please would you join with me as we pray together, as we are seated, our school prayer. We give you humble and hearty thanks, most merciful Father, for our founder, James Cameron Todd, for all our benefactors, and for the lives and examples of all who have served you here. Pour down your blessing, we pray you, on our school. Prosper our labors as you in your wisdom see to be best for us. Protect us by your Holy Spirit from sin and selfishness, and make us generous and brave, pure and true, in all our studies and in all our recreations, that our task being sanctified by your love, our days here may be attended by your blessing, and that when our work on earth is over, you may send us rest under the shadow of your wings. For the sake of Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen. And we conclude with the words of Bishop Michael Nuttall's prayer for Michaelhouse. And so we continue in prayer. God of love, God of grace and mercy, we thank you for this great school which we love, strong in its traditions, open to change, sensitive to new possibility. Grant that its members may always pursue justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with you. And so now and always, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you. May the Lord lift the light of his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.
I hope you'll excuse me, but we're now going to deviate slightly from the program. Rector, I hope you don't mind. Our Rector, Anthony Clark, retires at the end of this year after a distinguished career in education and 7 years at Michaelhouse. We will have many opportunities to say farewell and pay tribute to you in the next month or two. But for now, our chamber choir would like to sing one of your favorites. Please will everyone be seated, apart from the A block, who will form a guard of honor from the end of the chairs in the middle aisle, through the foyer, and into the courtyard. Thanks, A block.
In said too much. My silence is my self-defense. And every time I've held a rose, it seems I only felt the thorns. And so it goes, and so it goes. And so will you soon, I suppose. But if my silence made you leave, then that would be my worst mistake. So I will share this room with you, and you can have this heart to break. And this is why my eyes are closed. It's just as well for all I see. And so it goes, and so it goes. And so will you soon, I suppose. So I will choose to be with you. That's if the choice were mine to make. But you can make decisions too. And you can have this heart to break. And so it goes, and so